Hi. Actually, I'll change my glasses here. These are a bit better. Steve Kaufmann here. It's a holiday here. It's Monday, Easter Monday, and I'm gonna go up skiing. Yeah, there's no snow outside here. I could go golfing today, but today is the last day of skiing up at Cyprus, so I'm gonna go for my cross-country jaunt there for an hour or two. But first, I thought I'd do a video. People often ask me, what do you think of learning systems like Pimsleur, Asimil, Teach Yourself, I don't know, Rosetta Stone. And I think I've commented on this before, but I thought I would do it again because there was another question about this at my blog. The blog, by the way, is The Linguist on Language, which you can Google for, or Google my name and you'll find the blog. Okay, we have had LINQ now for 2 years maybe. Prior to that we had a system called The Linguist, which was only for English. So most of my language learning has obviously not been done at LINQ. So previously, if I was going to start a language, I would begin by buying one of the beginner books. And so, I mean, here is one. It's the colloquial series, which I enjoyed. I got this for my Portuguese. Teach Yourself is another one. I bought a book on how to learn Romanian. Haven't started Romanian yet. Teach Yourself. I even bought a Teach Yourself Russian grammar book, which I didn't find very good. What else? Yeah, I bought myself a Teach Yourself Russian. Typically what I do is I buy more than one beginner book for a language. This is before we had LINQ. So, because they cover more or less the same material. Because all I want out of those books, by and large, is the content. In other words, the learning content. I don't do the exercises, I don't do the drills. I certainly look at the vocabulary lists. Here for example, let's do that properly. You can see there's a dialogue. I've underlined some words in it. They give you a little vocabulary list and so forth. But the main thing I want to be able to understand the little dialogue by looking the words up in their vocabulary list, and then I want to listen to it many, many times. And so I do that in the Teach Yourself series, and then I'll get a colloquial book which covers a lot of the same vocabulary, and I'll do the same. The content of the dialogue is quite uninteresting, but I know that at the beginning I just have to do a lot of repetitive listening, and I have to look at their word list. And I might skim the grammar explanations, but really skim, because I know I won't understand. If they tell me about, masculine, feminine endings, and when it's this way and that way, it won't make any impression on me, but it might help me get through the content that I'm listening to. So I think that the Teach Yourself series are good for that. And I would recommend, even though we have LINQ and we have some beginning material at LINQ, there's something about having a book in your hands, holding on to a book. And I think both colloquial and Teach Yourself are good. What else do we have here? I bought this, I have a tendency, if I see a book that I think might be of interest to me, I buy it. I don't mind spending money on books. I think books are a great investment. 10, 20, 30, max $25, and you've got it. And I'll often buy books that I don't need right away. It's kind of like buying wine for a wine cellar. And they'll be there, and then 2 years later I'll all of a sudden pick this book up out of my, from my bookshelf, and I'll really enjoy it. So when I see something I want in the way of books, I buy them. So I haven't started on Czech, but I have a book, Hugo. What else do we have here? Asimil, which is popular with a lot of people. I did Asimil in Russian. It was okay. Again, I don't go for any of their explanations. They have so many notes. I find that all our notes are a distraction, trying to fill you with irrelevant information. The Korean book was particularly bad. The Russian one was okay. There was a little humor in some of their dialogues. It progresses quite quickly. What I don't like about Asimil is they don't have a vocabulary list for each lesson, so you're forced to read the translation. which is less efficient because I got to look for the words that I don't understand. I don't want the whole thing translated. I don't want their explanations. I just want the sound and the text. But Asimil is another beginner one. I bought a Berlitz book in Russian. Don't forget, I had all of this before we had Link in Russian. What I would do now, I think I would still recommend to some people that even with Link, that many of them may want to have a little book. You can get yourself a little grammar. I mean, there are little grammar books like this, or this series was particularly good. It was recommended by someone who commented on my blog. It's the Dover Essential Grammar Books. Again, I always recommend getting the smallest possible grammar book you can find and reading through it from time to time. With Russian, let's see, what else did I buy? I bought a book like this called 500 Russian Verbs. I never use it. I keep it by my toilet. Occasionally when I sit there, I leaf through it. I don't really remember much of what I leaf through. It's essentially a useless book for me. I bought this for Russian called Beginner's Russian Reader, but I found reading this stuff boring. And instead, when I found this book here, which is the Kreutzer Sonata, it's a bilingual book, French and English. And, the sooner you get on to, at least with me, the sooner I find I'm able to access authentic content, I'm so much more motivated to learn it. And I was able to get the Kreutzer Sonata book with the French, which to me is not as nice as having the word list, but at least it gives you the meaning so you can work your way through it. Once we had Link, I was able to find Kreutzer Sonata at Gutenberg.org or somewhere. I loaded it into Link, and from then on, I was just on Link. I used Link really with we have some of our beginning material at Link. As soon as we had Link up and running for Russian, I didn't need any of the books. And I'll tell you why that is. Like, even when I was doing German and Italian 20 years ago, I would scour the bookstores here in Vancouver looking for readers which had text and a word list. That's all I wanted, because I know it's inefficient to look up in a dictionary, because any word that you see in a dictionary or in a list, you're going to forget. So I would rather have the word list associated with the text that I'm reading. And then I have a chance of remembering, and plus it's there right away. But the word lists aren't great, because very often the words you need aren't on the word list, and half the words on the word list you already know, so it's not that efficient. And rarely when I was studying before would I be so spoiled as to have the sound as well as the text. So to my mind, what we do now at Link is just an unbelievable service for free. You can go to the library, and there you have, in 10 languages, content with guaranteed sound and text. And all the other advantages. You can save, you're connected to an online dictionary, you can save words to a database. We start to indicate how many unknown words there are. Anyway, I won't go into talking about Link. So, in all of that then, what am I saying? Oh, I wanted to say one more thing. Insofar as the beginning period, the first 3 months. And the first 3 months is kind of where you get over the unfamiliarity. You're not going to learn anything to keep. You're not going to learn how to say, hello, my name is so-and-so, and then for forever never be able to say that. You're going to forget it again. So the main thing is just to get into it. I prefer to have a textbook, like Teach Yourself, where whatever explanations there are and that I might use are written for me. I read them, I forget them, I read them again. I don't like Pimsleur. I don't like Michel Thomas, because I have to listen to the explanations. And because I very often have to read the explanations or translations 50 times before they sink in, I can't possibly listen to Michel Thomas explain something 50 times, nor Pimsleur with their English. So the kind of audio that I want, especially in the beginning when I am listening 20, 30, 40 times the same content, is audio without my language, or without a language that I know. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I can talk more on this subject, but I better stop to stay under the 10-minute limit. So, thank you for listening. I look forward to your comments.